Hello, hello! So I want to make a video talking about my contributions to the recent released Soup Rooms. Now, Soup Rooms is an exploration game that is inspired by the likes of things like 0.91, which is a mini homage to things like LSD Dream Emulator. And that was done by a Japanese dev, and ever since that came out, that's actually inspired a bunch of mods of it. Even then, in the past, I've done mods for Soup 0.91, and there's been a lot of different fan projects that are inspired by it. And Soup Rooms is actually the second collaborative project where a bunch of devs came together to contribute mini rooms. Soup Rooms is like a huge project compared to the previous project, which is Soup Soap, I believe it was called, also organized by Kiteline. But Soup Rooms actually utilizes a Soup Rooms creation engine called Babylon by Kumakira. And the project is massive. We had a ton of devs contribute rooms to this, all organized by Kiteline. So I kind of wanted to go into some of the rooms that I did for this project, and maybe some of the ones that I helped, and kind of show you the rooms themselves, and also maybe show how I made some of the stuff for the rooms. And then I want to make a separate video where I actually show you how to make a soup room using the Babylon engine. So let's get to it. So I just wanted to add that I think I'm going to be making individual videos on each of the rooms because there's a lot to talk about in regards to what I did for art and music in each of the rooms. So this video is going to be covering Signal, and then I will try to make other videos related to the other rooms that I did for Soup Rooms. Okay, so this is the first room I ever submitted for this. And it's called Signal, and I had the idea of an abandoned entity or robot that was lost in this giant hole, maybe like a sunken city. If you look all the way up, you can see a hole from far up there. So the overlay for this room is supposed to be kind of like a camera. So maybe like a little machine with a camera sit down here to sort of investigate what's in this hole. And the idea is, when it's down here, there's like a bunch of sunken buildings, and there's this weird thing down here. It could be a statue, could be a weird humanoid robot of some kind, or alien thing, who knows? Just a little fish down here. So if you stay in this room for a little while, you will actually get a transmission. There's some vocals you will hear, distorted audio, if you stay in this room. Now, I'm actually going to show what I used to make this, because it's actually not 2D. I did something similar with a room that I contributed to in Soup Soap, or Soap Soup, where I end up just making stuff in 3D in Blender, and then putting it in a 2D, image editing program afterwards, after taking kind of a screenshot of the render, and then doing all the whatever effects and alteration of colors or whatever else I needed to for the textures. Okay, so this is a scene in Blender 2.8. I believe I made the scene in really early. The project started, I think the project was going for 3 years. So maybe this may have been made at the end of 2022 or somewhere in 2023. Also, apparently I made a jellyfish for this, and I don't remember doing that. Yeah, let me switch over here. It's actually pretty basic with what I did with it, because all I did was model out this little weird. You'd actually see more of it here. More of it in 3D now that I can actually move it around. But yeah, it was debris. It's very bright for some reason. This was kind of close to where I had it, but obviously I put it into some image editing programs to kind of change the way it looked. Because I also pixelized it too, which is what I did for a lot of the other rooms as well. It's a shame I couldn't have added the jellyfish. There's no way, like with the limitations of the room, there's no way I could have put a jellyfish in unless I made like the little moving sprite a jellyfish. I don't remember what lighting I had for the building. It is different, maybe because I accidentally opened this in like a different version of Blender. But with the ruined building background, I took a screenshot of this because I made like just a wall, like a ruined wall or something, and just kind of like cut it up in an image editing program and pasted things together to make like the windows the way they look in this. So, but yeah, I used 3D for it, and then I end up putting this guy into Piskel and making it look a little bit more like pixel art. So this is Piskel, a pixel art editing program. I think I actually have a really outdated version of it, but I've been using it for pixel art and also to take what I can do for some stuff is take images of things that are not pixel art and you can squeeze them down to make them look pixel art. I can show you an example of this. So say I wanted to take my old logo and I'm going to resize it down. Now sometimes depending on how big the image is. Okay, yeah, it actually, this one did a pretty decent job, but you can, if you want to kind of give a pixel art look to stuff that isn't pixel art, and also go back in, because when you squeeze stuff down to a very small size in this, it's not always perfect, so you'll want to clean it up in here. But that's basically what I did with this thing here, where I took a screenshot from my own render. I cleaned it up in Sai, which I'm still using an outdated version of Sai. So Sai is actually the main image editing program I use just to do like really basic stuff, and then I might use I can use like a bunch of different things to finalize something. But I used Sai, and then I put it in here after doing what I wanted to in Sai, and turned this into pixel art, and then cleaned it up afterwards because I actually used the lines, you know, so I put kind of like an outline and everything, and maybe cleaned up anything in here that didn't look too great. But yeah, that's what I did with that. I used like actually quite a few things to make that, and to make the walls and to make the floor. And I also did like the hole in the ceiling. I just did a simple like thing inside and then brought it in here as well to kind of like pixelize it. As for the little fish, now a slightly annoying thing, and this is just a carryover from the way Soup 0.91 is done for the little animated sprites that are in the rooms. Now, when I do animated pixel art, and if I've used Piskel before, I'm used to just doing the individual frames. Like, it has layers that you can do. So for each animated frame, it would go 1, and then 2, and then 3, and all that. It would go down. The way the frames are done in Babylon, which, like I said, it reflects the way Soup 0.91 was done, it's actually like side by side. So, there's usually like there is like a default thing in the folder, like for the blank rooms. Like if you want to make a room yourself and make like an animated sprite, there's like a default size in there. You can actually make these bigger, but, I don't remember like the individual frame size. So I had to like figure that out, and you will have to figure that out depending on like what size you want. But so yeah, I had to do it side by side, figure out what the individual frame size was, and then just bring that in here and just do like a basic fish, animated fish for the room. And yeah, these I don't know if you could make these big. I think you have to make these pretty small compared to everything else, where you can actually make them pretty huge in comparison. But yeah, that's Signal. That's basically what I did for Signal. And then, of course, there is the audio effects and the music. As for the sound effects in the room, the sound of the water and the camera shutter are free sounds that are on Pixabay. So there are a lot of different sites that have free sounds that you can grab. So I use Pixabay for that. It's just like the sound of a camera and the sound of water, like something moving through water, to kind of get the impression that you're like a little thing with a camera on it moving through water, examining things. As for the background track, which is not playing at the moment, that was also custom made by me. It mixes an old music track I did, like an ambient track, because I've done a lot of like old ambient music. I think it was called Space Garden. So that's an old track of mine, and I combine that with I may have done some remixing of it and in like an old music program that I use, which is like Magic's. I don't use it too much anymore, but I used to use Magic, which is a Sony digital like music workstation, and I combined that with audio, and I believe that was actually my vocals in that. If you'll get like a corrupted sounding, like a distorted sounding, if you wait in the room long enough, you will get distorted audio, and I think I used Magix for that, or you may have used Audacity. I usually use like a combination of both and maybe some other software to distort my vocals and crustify them enough to make it sound like a broken signal that you're getting from either far away or you're getting from I think the intention was receiving the transmission, like the signal, was you're getting it from this thing here. It's been in this hole for a very, very long time. So there was like a message stored in it. And this mechanism that you're using to kind of like explore around and investigate this little area, it's receiving the signal from this thing, but the signal's all broken up and corrupted and stuff from being down here. Okay, so this is the music track that I have in Magic's Music Maker 2017. I still use I don't know, I guess I got so used to using some really outdated DAWs. There's some other stuff I make use of, occasionally Fruity Loops as well, but I'm very, very slow to adapt new tech, like new software. That was the case for like using Blender to make 3D stuff as well. I'm very slow to adopt, so sometimes I use really old, outdated software. Hey, it's still valid as long as it works. This is what I used to make the music track. I took a part of an old ambient track I did called Space Garden and used some of it for this. Um, yeah, this might have been like one of the original project because it's not the MP3 itself. It still shows what I actually used, the different sounds that I used for these, like the synths. So it may have been like I probably took the original project and then just like modified it and saved it as something else. So there's that, and then the vocals. These here, I believe these are distorted in the project. Yeah, for these there is some sort of distortion effect. I had quite a few effects applied to these. Also, I believe, yeah, I use vocal tuning. This also has vocal tuning, so sometimes I've used it for that to like distort the shit out of audio to create some really interesting effects. Oh, it's not showing, but yeah, this has vocal tuning. For some reason, it's not showing the window. And here's the message in the room without most of the distortion. It's still crunchy, and I may have applied effects in Audacity before I brought it in here. But at least you can hear what the message actually is.
Detecting signal of potential recipient. Playing back message. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 3. Earthquake leveled city. Large hole goes forever. Something came out. Everything shaped around it. Thick walls. great battle, humans went into hiding. Everything entrusted to machines. It is up to tech.
I think there might have been more to that message, but for some reason it's cut off. But yeah, that's most of it decoded without the effects. Okay, so that's it for Signal. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing individual videos covering the other rooms, but thank you for tuning in, and I hope you check out Super Rooms if you haven't done already.